to the Third Space team. My name's Jessica Harland and I'm going to give you a sample of a sound bath and how I would run a sound bath. So I predominantly work with singing bowls, but I also play lots of shamanic instruments and play the gong as well. I don't have my own gong here, so I can't show you how I would play the gong today, but I would be happy to come in and show you that and give you a sample of my all-round sound bath. So today what I'm going to do is I'll talk through a little bit about what I would do, and then I can go into it and show you how I would do that. So to begin with, I always introduce myself and give everyone in the room just a little bit of a run through about what to expect in a sound bath, because we can encounter lots of different sensations in the body, our emotions, in our visualizations in our mind, as we go deep into meditation. So I always like to run through some expectations for people, because it's quite often that there's a lot of people coming and it's their first time. So I just want to make them feel safe and secure, and not to worry that if they start to feel any physical sensations or any emotions come up, that they know that that's quite normal. And then also, visualizations and memories coming up is also super normal as well. And if they were to feel uncomfortable at any point, to just say that they can move positions, but just be mindful that there's other people in the room. I would also just let them know that it's quite normal to fall asleep in this practice as well, and if they were to be aware that they are someone who snores, just to be mindful if they are going quite deep into a sleep, that they can maybe just move onto their side, or even start in that position if they're worried about that happening. And then also just let them know that if someone does start to snore, that it's completely normal and nothing to be worried about. Again, just to make them feel safe in this space, because it can feel a little bit alien if you're new to this space. But just to let them know that if they do start snoring, if one of their neighbours notices and they're unaware, if they could just give them a gentle tap or a little squeeze on the arm, just to make them aware that sometimes during the practice I am able to move around and do that, but sometimes it's a little bit hard when I'm in the flow of playing the singing bowls. So I would go through all of that with people, and then I would let them just close their eyes for a moment and just ask if there's anyone in the room who has any illnesses, any pregnancies, any allergies that I need to be aware of. And then if they do, then they can just give me a little wave and I can come over and have a chat with them before we begin. Just again, make them feel comfortable and just make myself aware if there's anyone in the space who has got any serious illnesses, or even if someone's got any like metal plates in their body, things like that. So then I'm aware and I know. If there's anyone who had something quite serious like epilepsy, for example, I would maybe advise that they not take part in this practice, depending on how serious it is. If someone's maybe suffered from epileptic fits in the past, then I would say how long ago was it. I have trekked people before who've had that in the past and they've been fine. And if that is the case, I would just kind of make them feel safe and say, don't worry, I play very gently anyway, because that is my approach when it comes to a group sound bath. I would never play too strongly with the instruments to disturb anyone, because it can be very powerful. I play in harmony most of the time, just bringing in little moments of disharmony, but I would never play in disharmony for too long. I would never play disharmony with the lower notes together anyway with C and D, because that can be very disturbing and create a lot of anxiety in someone, and that's not what we're there to do in a group sound bath. In a group sound bath, we're really there to help people feel calm and relaxed and release stress and not bring that on. So I always have a very gentle approach to sound healing. So once I've done that, I would ask everyone to lie down and just get in a comfortable position. I always advise having something behind the head to make the head comfortable, and having a bolster under their knees if that is comfortable for them, with a blanket on top as the body temperature does lower throughout this practice as our heart rate goes down. Whilst this is going on as well, before people have even come in the room, I always like to have a little bit of music that's quite gentle as people come in, which really just kind of sets the tone, allows people to just really arrive into the space and get into the energy. I change music up occasionally, but I have certain tracks that I play which really just allow people to drop into the space. Also having the lights quite low. I like to have candles in bowls, but it depends what you guys would want me to do and what you want me to use and the equipment, etc. It just gives a nice little extra element to it. But once everyone is settled and they're lying down, I would then move into a guided meditation. So that would generally, I mix this up as well depending on the time of year. If there's anything that's happened in the world that I feel like the energy could be shifted a little, but generally I talk people through kind of resting the body, a little bit of breath work, just a small amount, and that meditation can last for about 5 to 10 minutes just to really settle people into the space. I would then move into using, I like to use a sort of percussion instrument, so I really love this rain stick to begin with. Just really helps cleanse the energy a little bit and just allow people again to arrive into the space with the sounds of nature. I then like to bring in some of Tibetan bowls to begin with, mixing that in with a little chime here. And then I move into using the crystal singing bowls, which will be the predominant part of the sound bath. I do chimes with this rubber ball to begin with, and then use these sticks here to sing the bowls for longer, really allowing those slow kind of drone noises to really move people's brain frequency into that theta brainwave state where they're in between consciousness, and sometimes really go into that subconscious, into that deep brainwave state where they can meditate to their heart's desire. And then after playing the singing bowls for a while, I actually have another flow chime, but I'm not going to use it for this practice just because of time. Where I'm talking a lot now just to explain to you, but I thought it would be best to explain first how I usually like to do a sound bath. The flow chime as well, I kind of move around the room, where that's kind of a larger chime that really the sound really flows and moves, and that's really beautiful for people. It kind of takes people into this place where they're present, but in that, because they've been through the singing bowls for so long, their brainwave state is in that theta state, so they're kind of floating throughout this sound that really moves around the room, which is a really beautiful sensory experience for people. I would then sometimes use, I've got some other instruments that are called panji nuts, and sometimes use those to just kind of really ground people and bring them back gently. It kind of sounds like water and rain, but I'm not going to use that again today because of time. I also at that point like to bring in the sounds of nature, bird song, and sometimes some water as well, which again just really gently brings people back out of that theta brainwave states up into their normal consciousness a little bit more. And then end with some koshi chimes. And throughout the practice as well, I'll demonstrate this to you as well. One of the things that I bring into my practice, which not all practitioners use, which kind of sets me apart a little bit, is that I really strongly believe in the power of the voice and my vocals. I'm very connected to angelic frequency, and I just allow that frequency to just move through me, and whatever feels right for the energy in that space that day, I will bring that into the practice. And it just adds another element of this uplifting kind of element. So my practices are generally a combination between grounding energy and uplifting energy. So you get this kind of beautiful polarized sensation throughout the practice, and I really take people up and down with that as well. So that the vocals kind of go throughout the practice on and off, not constantly. It's just like a nice flowing comes in occasionally. So once the kosher chimes are done, I will bring in some music again, which just really gently brings people back up, generally taking about 5 minutes for people to actually come round in the practice, and yeah, just guide them through how to kind of connect with their bodies again as they start to move, and just take them through that, and then end generally in a seated position with a moment of gratitude, either placing hands on the body, or palms open, or in prayer, whatever, giving that option to people. So, talked a lot there. I'll take you through a little bit now and just do little sections for you on how I would guide people in. So I'll do a mini version of a guided meditation, and then move into the way that I would